Welcome to the Hall of Shame. The Hall of Shame Weekly presents Nigerians who display bad attitudes, bad behaviors, unethical conducts, disgraceful attitudes, if you like, in the public spaces of our country. This week, we're inducting two institutions and two persons into our Hall of Shame. Let's first call in our first inductee this week, the Joint Committee on the Police of the Senate and the House of Representatives of the National Assembly. Recall that last week, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbekun, presented the budget of the Nigerian Police Force before the Joint Committee. Strangely, bad attitudes and behaviors were displayed by members of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly who had sat in the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly to look at the 2025 budget of the Nigerian Police Force. In the course of the presentation of the budget of Nigerian Police, the Inspector General of Police read from prepared documents that a certain senator from Ebonyi State, let's call it Senator Onyekachi Inwo-Eboyi, raised objection to the fact that the budget documents presented to the police that was before him did not reflect some of the statements and some of the budget items the Inspector General of Police had read out. He protested vehemently rather than the Joint Committee addressing some of the issues he raised, more particularly the fact that the documents he had were different from those documents that the Inspector General of Police had read from. He was booed to the point of being disgracefully, harangued that he abandoned and walked out of the sittings of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly. That such an august body should behave like louts in the motor parks and garages of our country, does not highlight the sense of responsibility that we attach to the Senate and House of Representatives of the National Assembly of our country. So this week, let's call in the Joint Committee on Police of the National Assembly. Una try for the bad behavior on display, screaming, shouting, booing at your fellow colleague who raised an important point about the transparency of the documents that were before him, and the fidelity of the Inspector General of Police in committing himself to the very document that he presented to the Joint Committee of the National Assembly. Let's move forward. Let's call in another Nigerian institution. This institution was in the news 2 weeks ago, and clearly what the institution continues to show to Nigerians that it has become a cocoon, a chamber, a commission of thieves. Let's travel to Kaduna, the zonal branch of the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, where $10,000 just grow wings from the vault of the EFCC. As we speak here, the papers report that the young man who the papers allege disappeared with the money, one polycarp, had not been found by the EFCC. Recall that 2 weeks ago, in the same manner, $350 million worth of jewelry disappeared from the vault of the EFCC. Again, let us induct into our Hall of Shame this week the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. We'll move on, of course, not to an institution, but to an individual who works within an institution, charged and mandated by law to protect the integrity of the law itself, to protect persons and property in the length and breadth of our country. Let's call in Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Abdulyari Lafia, who the papers alleged was placed on suspension last week by the Inspector General of Police. What was his alleged offense? Well, my people, this is what the papers reported. They said the man just do wayo somehow in the course of his, of his work as AIG. He went and tweaked na big grammar. He went and forged his age, and his service records, of the Nigerian police. What he do be say he extend the retirement life or the working life when he get for the police, somehow postpone his retirement to another date. Happily, he's been placed on suspension by the Inspector General of Police. But he also raises a fundamental point about transparency and integrity of our institutions, particularly those institutions charged with responsibility, of maintaining integrity of our laws. If a senior police officer, AIG, could forge his date of birth and his service record, change and make and clean in such a way, say, now yesterday enter police and he get many more years to serve to the police, you could imagine how many officers in Nigerian police who have not been caught who do these things. This week, we're inducting AIG Abdulyari into our Hall of Shame. Finally, let's call the last inductee into our Hall of Shame this week. I'm sure you people read the story in the national papers. He knows, a young man who claims to be a gospel singer, decapitated the body of a young Nigerian lady, Miss Salome Adaidu. He kpai the woman, he kpai the lady, he cut her head, but for the brilliance, of and vigilance of a Nigerian Okada somewhere in Nasarawa State, around Orozo area, would not have known of the death or the murder of the young Nigerian lady, Salome Adaidu. Strangely, whether the guy had not correct, when they asked the guy, you regret the killing of this young Nigerian lady, when not do you anything? Surprise, make una hear what the guy talk. The guy say, he not get any regret. Gentlemen, ladies, wherever you are, those are inductees this week into our Hall of Shame. AIG Abdulyari Lafia, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Timilehin Ajayi, who murdered a young Nigerian lady somewhere in Nasarawa State and decapitated her body. Decapitation here in a big grammar. What do? He just carried knife. I say now, but why he laid the girl put for slap. Cut the girl body into small pieces. Put the girl head for one rubber bag. When be saying Okada man catch him as the rubber bag the drip of blood of this young girl. And finally, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the zonal branch in Kaduna, from whose vault 10,000 US dollars disappear. I think 30,000 US dollars disappear. Until we meet again next week when we present another set of inductees into our Hall of Shame. Just stay blessed, keep safe wherever you are. Thank you. Goodbye.